Not too long ago, Razer hooked me up with the Razer Wolverine Ultimate. Razer, you guys are awesome. They always send me a bunch of stuff to play with, and they wanted my thoughts on this, and so I figured the best way for me to convey this to them, more than anyone, Razer, this is for you. These are my thoughts on the Razer Wolverine Ultimate. So this is an Xbox One wired controller. I say that very clearly because it is not wireless, but it is pretty neat. It's obviously a rival to the Xbox Elite controller. It comes in a similar carrying case to the Xbox Elite. Oh, it's not in there. It's right here. Just wanted to give you guys a look at that, show you some of the other options here. You switch out items just like the Elite controller. The big thing I think is really, really cool about this controller, well, for one, since it's wired, it has a lot more lighting, so check this out. And I actually have another setting that makes it more bright. There you go. You can customize this. So that is the default setting right there. It just goes absolutely crazy. For my custom setting, I just press this down here. I made it kind of a more gradual, more dimmed wave, because that is a little much. It's cool, right? It's like, oh, sweet. Like, having that on control is wicked, but I don't like having too many lights down there. I really do like this D-pad option. I'm quite impressed with it, because they're all individual buttons, right? Like, that's what I think is so freaking cool about that. That once I started using it, I can't go back. I am a big fan of this disc style. Like a close second, if not kind of first, is the typical Xbox Elite disc. But this is the individual buttons for certain games is so cool, especially menu navigating. I've been playing Phantasy Star Online 2, and you know, all these crazy menu systems. This thing is just awesome for that. Just great. It feels pretty good. I do like the weight of it. I do like most things about it. Let's take a look at the back here. Obviously, you have 4 back buttons. These are really, really, really cool. I like how they feel. They feel very interesting on my fingers. However, I find they're kind of hard to reach. Unlike an Elite controller, it bends inwards, right? Like, it's easier to touch those, like, just kind of by squeezing. But these are kind of out of the way. Let's see if I can show you how I hold it. So, right, so I'm holding like this. It's kind of out of the way. That's a big complaint. Also, I'm not really big on back paddles as a whole. Every time I try to learn them, like, I force myself to use back paddles, and they never really, I don't know what I'm activating, it just rumbled. I never really use them. I try and I can't. What is new and unique on this controller, though, is there's top buttons as well. So you have 3 triggers per side. Now, these I absolutely love. My big complaint was I had to get used to not pressing them. I guess I really hang over the controller when I'm holding it, so like I press it a lot. But once I got used to that, and a game like Phantasy Star as well, where again there's a ton of different buttons, I just quickly bound like my X and Y up here, and I was just like, I barely needed to touch anything else. Like, that's so many buttons, it's fantastic. The A, B, X, Y buttons are very light clicks, like almost like a mouse click. That I had to get used to. I found I was pressing them very, very hard, expecting it to be like a normal controller where you have to really press down, but they're just simple little clicks, which I don't really have an opinion on. Again, this is one thing that would come down to preference. Theoretically will improve your game because the time to push, right, the distance to push is much smaller. I got used to them after a while. They bugged me a lot at first, but I definitely got used to them. Since this is the Xbox version of this controller, down on the bottom you do have, a bunch of different buttons to switch the mode, to, mute and change audio settings, which I like having that built in. That's pretty cool. Unfortunately, I don't use Xbox chat anymore, right? Like, I use Discord entirely now, even if I'm playing Xbox, so I don't make use of this. But those who are constrained to just their Xbox, very, very cool. You do have trigger locks on the back. You gotta have trigger locks. The grip is very comfortable. It has a little bit of a finger shape in there, which I like. The app for customizing it is pretty simple. You can just flip it on the fly. I wish there was more macro options on there that I can just make. Again, I'm going to keep mentioning Phantasy Star because it's, for oddly enough, what I found this controller the most useful for. But in Phantasy Star, there's a lot of button combos, like holding left trigger and pressing X. I wish I could... Like, light almost just fell over back there. I wish I could just bind more of those. I couldn't find a way. But the program works pretty well, and you can just open it while you're playing, recustomize a control quickly, and then move on. So I was doing that a lot with these extra buttons. A feature that I'm quite impressed with are these focus and agile buttons you can assign. They essentially change the sensitivity of your thumbsticks while holding the button. So you can use it to, say you're looking down a sniper scope and you press focus, it'll slow down your max speed there, or maybe you get into a vehicle and press agile and you can speed up and spin around faster. It's kind of neat. Now my major complaints, one, it doesn't feel like this side is sealed very well together. It kind of sticks out, and like maybe it's been wearing down a bit over time here, but it's almost cuts you. Like it's sharp over here. I wish that was maybe filed down a bit or just smoothed out. That is a major complaint. If that's a big complaint, I guess that's a good thing, because you're not moving around too much, but kind of a bummer. Now my other major complaint is the price. I would love to pitch this as an Xbox Elite alternative, and it is to an extent. However, this is 209 Canadian, and an Xbox Elite 2, the brand new Elite, is only like $20 more. So I am a big Xbox fanboy. I do really like the Elite controllers, especially the Elite 2. It does feel like a better put together piece of kit. So I struggle at that price point to recommend it. I am quite impressed with it. I didn't expect to be so impressed. I've played with Razer's older controllers, and they've come a long way in their controllers. It's mostly nitpicks, and like especially if you're big on wired controllers, and maybe you do just want to save $20, or you like the lighting, or there are some features here, because there are some differences, certainly. Again, like the clicking and stuff of the buttons is a big thing. And if that appeals to you, then yeah, in that case, I recommend it. However, I do think it's pretty pricey for what it offers, but I am impressed with it. So there you go. That is my verdict on the Wolverine Ultimate. This is entirely at my own volition. Obviously, I did get this for free. Thank you, Razer, for that. Really appreciate you guys always wanting my feedback on these things. And so there you go. There's my feedback. It is cool. It does a lot of cool things. I wish the Elite controller took notes on this D-pad. I really like this D-pad. It's very cool. The permanent back bumpers are also awesome. They're just too far away from my fingers. Thanks for watching.